Right, welcome. Got an update on Matrix 4. I think this is fascinating, very interesting. My head's really shiny. Let's fix that. There we go. So we've got an update on Matrix 4, and then we've also got a very exciting sort of update on a man's career, which I know sounds really strange, but it's an update on the Mandalorian second season. But then also it's the trajectory of Sam Hargrave, which is the director behind Extraction, which he was responsible for basically everything that was awesome in that film, because he strapped himself to a car, did all of the one shots, those things which almost look CGI. No, he actually did that. He was behind the camera. So I do think that this is an interesting video to take a look at. Just two pieces of news, I guess, and kind of break it down into this rather than separate videos. Before we do, see this is my cool poster for my movie. You can buy one yourself, actually. It's down below in the description box. There's a special Teespring store that says Blackfield's merch. There's also some hoodies and t-shirts, and also a GoFundMe link to my film. I am making a film. It's a high concept horror fantasy film. Norse, The Thing, Hellraiser, Conan, all inspired into one. In this world of reboots, The Matrix, or remakes, and rehashes, revisits, kind of creative bankruptcy. I'm trying to make something new, so if you like the sound of any of that and you like my reviews, then try pledging some money if you can. And if you do donate $5 or more, then you're in for a chance of winning a really, really cool prop. So let's dive into this, right? So The Matrix 4, Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss reveal why they agreed to return for the sequel, this is interesting. Because it's like, well, why would they come back? Now, they go on to talk about the script, which, look, it could be good, could be bad at the end of the day, couldn't it? Let's be honest. Obviously, there were lots of rumours of people coming back to the projects over the many, many moons. But this is, it's a bit of an insight into the behind the scenes and things like that. So apparently, this is with Empire magazine, Lana Wachowski wrote a beautiful script and a wonderful story that resonated with me, said Keanu Reeves. That's the only reason to do it. To work with her again is just amazing. It's been really special, and the story has, I think, some meaningful things to say, and that we can take some nourishment from. Now, there's some problems. I do find some problems with this, and the problems I have with it is kind of what the Wachowskis have kind of come out and said that The Matrix was about, like, now versus what it seemed to represent at the time. So Elon Musk tweeted something about the red pill, and then Trump's daughter came out and said something about it, and then a Wachowski came out and said, F you both, blah, blah, blah. It's about capitalism, dismantling, and kind of all this stuff. And look, if that's how they're going into it with this one, I think it's going to be a flop. That does concern me. If you're going to go into it with very overt agenda, then I think it may be a flop. I think the story will get just real bad. Real bad. And some of the things that are said here do concern me. I mean, look, the story has, I think, some meaningful things to say. Well, like, is it 2020 meaningful? Or is it like, the 90s meaningful? Which one is it? Because if it's 2020 meaningful, I'm not sure I want to see it. I'm not sure I think it's going to be good. And I'm sure there are many, many people that will agree with me. 2020 is a shit show, right? 2020 is terrible. The agendas that are being pushed, it's just nonsense. Like, it really is. It is just utter nonsense. And if it's 2020 levels of meaningful things to say, then I think we've got problems. I think we're going to be in for a bad story. But we'll see. And this is not to say that, this is, funnily enough, I watched The Wishmaster 2 days ago, and that is a film with a very strong, badass female lead. Even in the 90s, right, in terms of... the 90s was a bit of a weird patch in film industry history. But that's how you do it, right? There's flaws, and people grow, and they change, and they have character arcs, and that's how you like characters. But unfortunately, in the world that we live in now, we can't show that. And this is where I think that we're going to start to clash, because people will be comparing it, especially the fans of the original will compare it now, and they'll go back and forth, and I think that's where this will have problems and have a serious flop on the hands if it's like that. Because again, lest we forget that, you know, the Twitterati are not consumers, they don't pay for anything. And then Carrie Ann Moss came in and said some bits as well. She says, I never thought that it would happen. It was never on my radar at all. And I do like how they said the Jessica Jones actress. She's famous for The Matrix. What are you doing? When it was brought to me in the way that it was brought to me, with incredible depth and all of the integrity and artistry that you could imagine, I was like, this is a gift. It was just very exciting. Now, look, it all sounds very, very compelling. I'm not going to lie, I like the sound of it. I'm just a little bit worried. So what do you guys think of that? Let me know your thoughts on all of that down below in the comment section. Do you share some of my concerns? Like, they're not unfounded. You know, a lot of people just say I'm just, you know, complaining for the sake of it, but they're not unfounded concerns, okay? There have been many reboots that have been sort of bastardized, I guess, by the current trends. So check it, you know, I think I've got some points. But then the second thing is actually about The Mandalorian Season 2. Now, I'm really happy about this. So, I like The Mandalorian. Big fan of it. And I liked Extraction. And I said then, I think Sam Hargrave is on to massive things. And what happens? Well, he's directing some episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2. And apparently he's upping the action, which is awesome. Now, this is an exclusive with Collider. Hargrave was quite candid in his comments about The Mandalorian and his role as a second unit director, tasked with putting his knowledge on crafting superlative action sequences to good use for the show. But before he could get into the finer points of Hargrave's involvement, we had to know, how did this opportunity come around? So this is interesting, right? They actually came to me. It's crazy. I was in the middle of post-production on Extraction, and I'm editing my movie, and I get a call from my buddy Colin Wilson, one of the line producers, who said Jon Favreau and the people over here are looking for someone to bring into the team or add to the family who has experience with action. The team that was there did a great job in the first season, and it was just all fun, but they wanted to build on that and bring a new perspective and take it to another level for the next season. So I was like, that sounds like a fun challenge. Yes. I like the people over there. Favreau is great. So I went over, and it was a really fascinating adventure. They have a crazy way of shooting. Some of the stuff is traditionally shot with a live action and blue screen on the backlot. But they've also got this technology called the Volume, where it's just like the inside of a live video game engine. It's quite insane what technology nowadays is available to filmmakers, and it was really eye-opening. The potential of this technology that John and the guys had been working on. It's crazy. If you've seen it, it's like this big light room that just have LED projectors, and they can just create anything. It is insane. So yeah, really good. Now, he goes on and says, I'm confident that the difference is with Extraction, I'm in the editing room, so I can be extremely confident that the action is going to be what it's going to be. I'm not editing these episodes, but I know the footage we delivered as a second unit, they seem to be happy with. We worked closely with the stunt team there, with Brian Watson and the team that had done the first season. They did a really great job. You know, it was just to bring a little extra perspective, add a few things I've learned while working on superhero movies, because he's big on Marvel movies. Little tricks which make the performances easier, and using visual effects to enhance certain things. Just bringing a little bit of experience and knowledge to where we could take it to another level and up the ante. The next season is really, really cool, and the way the story arc is really cool. So we tried to do the action. We tried to have the action represent that and take it to the next level. I think we did that. Look, I'm really happy for this dude. I think he's awesome. Like I think he's epic. And he's seemingly so humble as well. Like, if you've seen any interviews with him, he just knows what he knows, and he just cracks on with it. I'm really happy for him, and I just think, like, we need more people like that. Like, that's someone who, as a director, as an actual director for his own film Extraction, like, he nailed it. He smashed it out of the park. It was great. And yeah, like, sure, it was a little bit generic in parts, but goddamn, it was awesome action. So good. Now he closes with that being said, the balance you have to find and the truth you have to adhere to is the character you've developed. So if you have a character for this guy who's more of a gunslinger, a bit more of a brawler, it would be out of character for him to come into a scene and throw out a round off, backwards double flip and do a crazy kick just because you can, or because he has a helmet on. You have to remember to stay true to the character. So yes, you can put whoever you want in there, but you have to make sure that you rein in the excitement and make sure you're true to the character in the story. And that sounds good. Like, I'm all for all of this. I think this is awesome stuff, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on both topics, Matrix 4 as well as Mandalorian Season 2, and Sam Hargrave in general. I'm all for Sam Hargrave. I think he's awesome. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Thanks so much. Take care.